All right, hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic because today we're going to be talking about a couple different S&P 500 zero date to expiry cover call strategy ETFs. What we're going to be doing in this video is comparing three different high yield ETFs: YMAX, WDTE, and XDTE. These are all pretty much S&P 500 high yield ETFs. We have one from Yieldmax, we have one from Defiance, and then we have one from Roundhill. So what I'm going to do today is I have all the distributions for the past 6 months or so. And what we're going to do here is we're going to add up all the distributions. We're going to find the average payment, the average dividend yield of each, and the average total return through the past 6 months when compared to the S&P 500 SPY. So if that does sound cool, does sound interesting, please remember to subscribe. We're up to 7,449 subscribers, one subscriber away from 7,500 subscriber. Be that subscriber and click that subscribe button. We're up to 298 subscribers in the past 28 days. So thank you very much to everyone who's joining our channel. As you guys know, we invest for income in our channel. We primarily invest in Yieldmax ETFs such as YMAX. That's our biggest position currently with over 1,000 shares. So what I wanted to do today was put YMAX to the test up against WDTE and XDTE. I don't own either of these two, but I own YMAX as mentioned. So as I specified, basically they all pay weekly dividends. YMAX, WDTE is mentions here as well. Distribution frequency is weekly. And as well, XDTE, we have weekly distributions. You can see here as well that they all post their dividend distribution rates. We have 31%. YMAX has a 60% dividend, and then XDTE has a 26% dividend. But in order to find the true dividend over the past 6 months, the dividend yield, I will be adding up all these numbers, and then we will find it out through there. So first, I want to start off with YMAX. YMAX has paid out 18 distributions in the past 6 months or so. They all have the same payment dates, which is great. So it's easy to compare and see the dividends. So when we look at YMAX, one thing to note as well is the share price. I have also the share price listed from 6 months ago for each, and YMAX is coming in at the lowest price at $17.92 6 months ago, and then now it's $16.67 as shown right here. And I'm using the date of August 12th for each ETF here, as you can see, August 12th, and then August 12th. So everything is nice and clear. Okay, cool. So when we go to YMAX, what we did here is we basically added up all the dividends paid. So YMAX came in at $3.34. Now what I'll do is I'm going to add up all of WDTE's dividends for the past 6 months or so. Okay, we add that up, we get $4.25, but you have to remember this is also a $44 ETF. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add up XDTE's dividends right here. Awesome. And now let's add all these up. XDTE and WDTE should be pretty similar just because they are about a similar share price. But as you can see, with a higher share price, you have a higher overall payment. But YMAX is definitely coming out supreme in terms of a dividend yield as it's a much lower share price. So now what we'll do is we'll get the average dividend payment. So what we'll do for this is for WDTE, we're going to take our dividends and we are going to divide that by our payments, which is 18. So our average dividend payment comes in at 24 cents. And then for XDTE, we're going to take our dividend divided by the total amount of payments, which is 18. And it always gives us some weird kind of number with this. Let's see what's going on. We have 492 divided by 18. Beautiful. If we can't do it that way, then we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to go 4.92 divided by 18. Boom. Okay, still does not work. Okay, cool. So we'll have to find that one out in a little bit. Let's see what we can do for that. Boom. Boom. Divide. Can I guess something real here? We'll just go 1.8, boom. Okay, still not going to go, so we're not going to worry about that one right this moment. But as you can see here, the average dividend payment for YMAX, $18 or 18.5 cents. we have 24 cents, and then roughly probably going to be about 25 cents for XDTE. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up the calculator because I really want to find out this payment. I don't need to let this hang. So we have 4.92 divided by 18. Okay, so our average payment is 27 cents and 33 microcents. Let's add this in here. We got dollars 0.273. Okay, cool. So these are our average dividend payments. Let's make this a little bigger. Let's go to our dividend yield. So in order to get our dividend yield, we took our payment divided by our initial buy price 6 months ago. For YMAX, it was $17.92. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to take our total dividend payments of $4.25, and we're going to divide it by the price purchased WDTE about 6 months ago, which is $44.83. And of course, once again, we are being bamboozled by this price. We got 4.25. You know what? I really appreciate you guys sticking with me so far. This is a little bit annoying, but we're going to push through with this 8.3. Let's see if this works here. No, it does not. So we're going to do it on the calculator and find out. Okay, 425. We have 44.25 divided by our number here, which is 44.83. Okay, we're going to subtract one of these here. 0.25 divided by 44.83. Okay, cool. So we got 0.094. Awesome. Okay, cool. So that is our dividend yield. We have 9% basically, 94%. Cool. So 9% roughly. That is a lot less of that's basically half the dividend yield of YMAX right off the bat. And now we're going to go to XDTE. XDTE, we have 4.92 for a dividend, 4.92, and our share price slightly higher here at 50.59. So 50.59, boom, 9.72. Okay, cool. So you can see here that, put this in, 972%. You can see here that XDTE and WDTE have very similar dividends, roughly about 9 to 10%, whereas YMAX has a much greater dividend. And for YMAX's total return, what I did was I took our initial share price, $17.92, and I divided it by 1667, which got us a negative 6% return, which over the past 6 months, negative 6.66 was YMAX's return on Yahoo Finance. So now let's find out these ones. Let's see if this will go here. So we have equals to, we want to take our current share price and divide it by our previous buy share price, which is 87. Awesome. We are going to subtract by 1, and we see a negative return of 12% over the past 6 months as the share price is trended down from $44.83 to $39.23. Now we're going to XDTE, current share price of 50.32. And what's going to be interesting here is there's not much depreciation in terms of XDTE. So if you want to hold on to your capital, it looks like it's been the best place so far. What we'll do is we're going to subtract by 1. Cool. So you could see a less than 1%. We can see here that XDTE went down less than 1% in terms of its capital play, which is awesome. Now what we do in order to find our total return is we are going to add these together. And this will give us our total return for investing in these funds. Boom. So it looks like, no. Let's see what we got here. This is really 9.4%. Cool. So we have a negative 3% return if you were to invest it in WDTE, which is very poor. And now I'm going to switch this to 9.72. Cool. I really appreciate you guys for sticking with me so far. This video has been a challenge, but you know what? We're getting through it one step at a time here. So it looks like out of all 3 investments, the best investment would be YMAX with this 11.67% return. WDTE, which is the Defiance S&P 500 high yield cover call strategy ETF, would have been the worst performing at negative 3%. Then you have a close second, which would be the Roundhill XDTE zero date to expiry cover call strategy ETF on the S&P 500 coming in at about 9.186%. So this was just a little video to compare the total returns of YMAX, WDTE, and then XDTE over the past 6 months, showing exactly, okay, how much did they pay in terms of dividends, how much was their average payment, how much share price appreciation / depreciation did they achieve, and then as well their overall return. So it looks like YMAX has produced the best overall return. But if you were to potentially want to hold onto your capital for longer, XDTE seems to have been the best play. And when we look at the share price chart, you can see that that's the case. It doesn't fluctuate as much as the others. I do think that YMAX probably fluctuates the most, is the most volatile. And then you have as well WDTE, which has been on a straight downtrend for the past little while. So that's one to maybe kind of watch if you were to invest in an S&P 500 cover call strategy ETF. So I hope this video was informative. I hope it kind of showed you, okay, what's the true dividend yields here and what's the true total returns of each of these ETFs. And when we compare even the best one, YMAX at 11.67%, I have SPY up here, still underperforms the overall market. SPY up 13.48% in the past 6 months. But you have to remember, these are for income plays. They're not necessarily for capital appreciation. This is if you want to potentially live off your income, this is probably the best way to do it. But as well, SPY, 13.48%. You have SPXL, which is a 3 times bull on the S&P 500. You could see in the past 6 months up 36.44%. So if you're looking for potentially a good play for capital appreciation, SPXL, although going to be more volatile, did really outperform the S&P 500 because it's a 3 times bull on it. So that's why my new strategy when it comes to my channel and it comes to my investments is going to be buying SPXL. Currently have 6 shares and an average share price of $176. It's going to be buying SPXL, looking for our best returns possible, and then reinvesting those gains back into YMAX. So that has been my strategy so far. That's what we're going to continue to do. We're currently up to 7,449 subscribers. Let's get that up. I really appreciate everyone sticking around to the end of this video. Please do take care, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.